lead gen series for course creators. Hello, everyone. My name is Tessa. I'm a marketing strategist, and this is Kai all day over there, a business coach. And we have this series where we're showing you how to get those people, the ones that are happy to, ready to buy and happy to pay, or happy to buy and ready to pay, either way. Whichever way, they're ready and you have what they need, right? So we're talking about specifically course creators. We just did an awesome event, a business clinic, and one of the ladies was talking about creating a course. And so it made us think, you know what? We have a lot of really good information for y'all if you do create courses. And Kai's actually an instructional designer, and she does amazing on creating courses. So we're going to tap into her knowledge and kind of give you some of our best tips today. If you're watching us live, hashtag live. And if you're catching the right replay, hashtag replay. So we know where you're watching from, and let us know what types of courses you do. If that's your area of expertise, if you're an expert, an industry expert in just about anything, marketing, business coaching, whatever it may be, you probably will want to implement some courses at some time. Yeah. So Kai, do you want to kick us off with some ideas?
Sure. I mean, I could come at this from two different angles, but really what we're talking about is how do we get your course out there into the world, right? I just want to make sure, because my brain's going down all these little rabbit holes.
We will focus in on that.
Okay. But, there's other things that we can talk about. So if there are a lot of you who have questions, please put them down below so we know if it would be relevant to you all to create another show that is based on how to create the course, like how to really go through it. So let us know below. Okay.
Yes, this is how to get it out there, assuming you already have it in place. Yeah. Correct.
Yes. Okay.
Get more leads to it.
Yes, get more leads to it. Okay. So some of the things, we have a lot of tips. And so some of the things that I would say where I would start, right? Because you got to think of it from this perspective. If I'm an expert or I am a course creator, if you're a course creator, most likely you are an expert, which is why you're creating the course, because you're sharing knowledge of some kind. But no matter what, the content must be valuable, right? So nobody wants content that's kind of like clickbait or like, it's one of those like, hey, read this. And then really all you've done is highlight their problems without giving them any solution. So that's the first thing that you really want to think about is like, how do you create high value content? And then you got to put it out there, because the way that people are experiencing that is a preview for them of what they will experience with you. So your course, your evergreen workshops, whatever that is, that's the preview. So if the preview is kind of wonky, then just imagine that's going to be their perception of what's on the inside. So that would be the first thing I would say. I think that's just, a lot of times just get it out there to begin with. I always say, as you're creating this high value content, definitely get a beta group together, because you're going to hear what they have to say in their words, where they're stumbling. And it really helps you to create a great experience on the inside and really market correctly on the outside with the type of content you're creating. Okay. That's number one. Do you have anything to add to that?
No, I mean, I think that's it. You have to have like quick wins, right? Yes. So you know what quick wins are going to attract the right people, and you've built it in, and you can deliver on it. So that's the big picture.
And this is so important. Like why we started here wasn't like, hey, where do you find the people and all those things, right? I get that, but why we start here is because if it is a preview of the service that you are delivering, it has to be great from the get-go. It doesn't have to be polished. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be high quality content. So you could have your phone and be recording like this, walking your dog. That's not what matters. What matters is what is actually coming out of your mouth. Is it useful? Is it relevant to your audience and who you're trying to attract in? Okay. So that's why we started here, because that is like, that is the most important thing. We never want to do like, hey, we're going to create this beautiful, which is going to be the next time one, right? Which is number 2 is optimize your video titles and thumbnails. And so you want to create this beautiful thing that stops people in their tracks and gets them to read. But if they then read it and the video doesn't match the hype, right?
Yes,
Then they're never going to come back again.
Yes, absolutely. Well, it's funny because if you saw our thumbnails from even like a couple months ago, we had just fast ones that we put up, and it's amazing the difference that a nice thumbnail can make in how people decide if they're going to actually watch you or not. And so I do think that's huge. And your titles, I talk about hooks all the time. So anything that you're putting out, start with it. You have 3 seconds. A lot of people say, hi, this is Tessa, how are ya? You know, hey everyone. Like, don't do that. Start with your hook. If you have any content going out, it needs to be so to the point. And then you can do the formalities of like, hey, I'm Tessa, this is Kai. But you have to start out with a hook, and the hook has to be, we spend most of our time doing hooks, right? Don't you think, Kai, for our content is like, how do we
do the hooks typically?
Yeah. So, I mean, the hook is how you're going to get them in. It also has to stop their eye. Like you said, it has to be eye stopping something, right? And deliver. We put 2 bullet points in our posts to say, this is what you're going to get. At least 2, maybe 3. So make sure you're giving them, you're showing them exactly what's going to help them. It has to be something they need. So that will help.
Creating reels, right? Understand how people are going to view it. So if they're coming across it, sometimes it's going to be square. So you might want to have the title on your face, like in the middle of the screen. Yes. It's only going to be up there for like 2-3 seconds, but if it's on your post feed and they want to learn more about you, they're going to see those titles, and then they'll know, okay, that's something I would like to watch. But if they have to go into the captions to figure out if I want to watch it or not, then it's not going to be as successful as it could be if you had the title right there, knowing like, hey, this is exactly what you're going to get. This is the hook. This is the value that I'm about to bring right now. And because then it speaks exactly to their situation. Right. Yes. So just be clear about that. So, I know we're going to go into one more that has to do with the content. And, normally we start with, okay, how do you find people and all those things? But the reality is we want to make sure that the landing place is a great place for people to land, so that once you do the outward marketing, the outbound marketing, that people come and they want to stay, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why we're starting here. Okay. So number 3, what's number 3, Tessa?
Oh, leveraging SEO. So search engine optimization. You can actually replace SEO in your brain with keywords. That's how I think of them. Whatever people are searching for, the way that they're searching for it, that is how all these platforms now, even, Instagram and Pinterest, all of them have search functionality now. So think about not what you think people are asking, but what they're actually saying out there. We have a lot of people who come to us for social media, and we were trying everything else, all the other messaging, and really the bottom line is that they think they need social media to grow their audience, and that can help, but the keywords were generally social media. So we were trying to resist it and not include that in because we don't love social media. We want to do it without having to do it a lot, right? We want to make more with less. But the idea is that you have to go figure out what people are searching for and make sure that that is in your titles, in your content, in your video, in your thumbnail. Like, it's so important. It's the key, because all search engines want one thing, and that's to get people the information that they want so that they'll consume it more and keep coming back, right? Yeah. So
I always think of SEO like the popular kid in school. Like, everybody knows the popular kid's name, their nickname, like what they're into. And, all this stuff about the popular kid. And so I think of SEO as the popular kid name, right? Like, when you're searching for the popular kid's name. Like, what are they talking about? What's the buzz around school? What's the gossip? Although I'm against gossiping, but what is it, right? And so, but that is, it's the thing that people are talking about, the person that people are talking about. That is how I always picture SEO. That's literally
I love it. I've never heard it explained that way. Now that's perfect.
So you're in my brain.
Yeah, I love it. Just add it into your posts, and I think you'll see a lot, in hashtags as well. But that will improve your discoverability, which means your people who need that are going to be there. And I just have to, I don't even think we see it. I don't see it in here. So let me just interject one item, and that's that you do need to repel some people. We talk about this a lot in our messaging to be able to get the right people. So again, in the beginning, we said the people who are ready to buy and happy to pay. That means that you have to have the right person that this is the fit for. So to some extent, when you're working with your thumbnails, your titles, the way that you look, make sure that you're repelling the people that aren't a good fit for you. You should be niching down. That's
and here's the thing is the popular kid. I'm going to go back to the popular kid, because you may not be the popular kid, but if people know that you know the popular kid, like all of a sudden you're like in that same circle. But also the same is true what Tessa is talking about, right? Is like, if you aren't down with the popular kid, you're using the popular kid's name, but you're like, and not anti, that sounds horrible, but you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe this isn't your thing. Like, you're not like on the football team, or you're not, you know, president of the debate club or whatever. You're like on the opposite side, but you still know the popular kid, you know, of them, you know. So remember, dropping that kid's name into your blog, into your YouTube channel, into your title, whatever it is, lets people understand where you stand. And then you create the messaging around that, whether it is something that is meant to repel people or bring them in. Either way, it's like, that's what the SEO does. Okay. And then you have to decide how you're using that SEO, which is what Tessa's talking about. Are you using that SEO to repel people, or are you using that SEO to bring them in? Right. But it is what gets their attention, so to speak.
It is the combination too. There is a little bit of repelling and a little bit of attracting that you need to do to get the right people. So the next one, number 4, is engage with comments and subscribers. I cannot tell you how many people I know personally, and I've done this. I've been, you know, hey, hashtag this, and then we're going to go back and look at it. You have to actually go back and look at it. But more than that, inside every post that you have, if you're going live in this group, we might not have a lot of people who are live with us, but we go back, they watch it after. I go back and, you know, make sure to invite them to the channel, to me, to be friends, whatever. There's a huge amount of resources just in the data that's behind Facebook, YouTube, looking up your competitors and seeing who's following them and getting, you know, connecting with them. So not only comments and you know, reactions to what you do, but check out other people. That might be your target audience right over there.
And I just want to say hi to Tracy. Hello.
Hey, Tracy. Good to have you.
Yes, it is. So this is one that you hear us talk about all the time, because this is something that we are so for, and that is really collaboration. Collaborate with influencers. Why? So now you've kind of created this nice landing place, right? You've created valuable content. You understand how to get people to it with the SEO, with optimizing the thumbnails and the titles, right? And now you're engaging with people. So you're creating community, but you need more people. So not just your mom and dad that you're talking to in the comments there, right? Like, you need more people to come in, and, you know, so those are your leads, right? And this is where you start to collaborate with influencers. Why? Because really, when you don't use other people's audiences, what you're hoping happens is that all of a sudden your video is going to go viral. All of a sudden, and it's just not how it works. Okay. So yes, you can live for the viral. Do you? That's totally fine. But you're going to be chasing your tail for most of it, because that's like how many percent of people actually go viral. And you always have to be on top of it, on top of the trends, which there's nothing wrong with that if you have that kind of time, but it can be very draining, especially if you're running a business, which most of you are. Like, this is not your business. You're not a content creator, you're a course creator, and you're producing content to bring people into the course. So just a reminder. Now, if you love doing this stuff, do it. Like, go for the viral trend, do it, because that's something you love. But
yeah, and viral is actually quite, I mean, very, anything you see that went viral is usually an effort to make it go viral. There is a strategy to put more eyes on one post. So I think we have this misconception that virality is just, it's just going to happen for you. It doesn't just happen. So we should probably do something around that someday soon. So,
but, you know, collaborating with influencers can help you go viral. So if you're meeting with getting in front of the right people, and really what does that mean when I say collaborate? You're partnering with them, right? So they have an audience that you can bring value to. You're not taking away from their audience, from their, whatever it is they're selling. You're adding to it. That is so important when you're looking at who you can collaborate. This is somebody that you can bring value into their world. You can serve well their audience, but it doesn't detract from what they are doing. It is only making their product, their service, their page, right? I can't even think of what it is, but it better. Right. And then we always talk about this, Tessa and I. Tessa does
peanut butter and jelly.
Right. And I do the business coaching. Right. So we both do strategy, but it is combined strategy because we need each other. So we have the same audience that we talk to, but we provide different services. Now, obviously, we're a business, we work together, but
we've just combined that peanut butter and jelly sandwich just stays together all the time.
The whole peanut butter and jelly sandwich rather than having to buy the bread, the peanut butter, the strawberry. Like, you just get it all together at once, right?
All in one. But that's what we connected. We found that opportunity. So, looking up, that's a great place to start, to get those leads that already, you have a third party recommendation too. So Kai could tell her clients, hey, I've worked with Tessa. I know how she is. Yeah. So, she's great. This is now a testimonial, or, it's a referral for you. Yeah. They're doing that hard work. So it also makes it easy for the people to come over because of that. So definitely peanut butter and jelly it up. And if you want ideas on what types of people could be good for you, let us know in the chat what your business is, so we can come back and give you some ideas. Getting on shows, just podcasts in general. Maybe you have a topic. Kai's amazing at doing podcasting, guest podcasting, and has her own podcast too. So those two go together too. That's a whole nother topic, which is really fun. But I know Kai and I were actually just talking about number 7, which is offer free mini courses and resources.
Yeah. So offering, I think we skipped one, but
I did skip some, but I wanted to make sure we only have 8 minutes.
You guys get everything.
Tessa just skipped right to that. Okay, so we have 9 minutes, but we're going to.
Okay. So
I want to just go to
this is probably number 6, but on our list it's number 7. Okay, so number 6 is offer free mini courses or resources. Does it always need to be free? Okay, here. I'm on the fence with this one. Yes, we have free resources, and yes, I like paid as well. So the difference is, one is kind of like the sampler platter, and the other one is you're vetting people, right? So for example, there are going to be people, I did this for years in my business. Before I paid for anyone, I was just getting all the free stuff I could get because I didn't have the money to do the other stuff. Now, and also I was like, do I really want to do it? I didn't even know what I was doing in my business at that point. So I wasn't going to buy from anyone. I was trying to earn my Google PhD and my YouTube credentials, right? Just by watching every video there. And that didn't work. And so that's when I started to realize investing was important. Now, depending on who you serve, they're going to want either the free or the paid. You don't have to do both. You can do one or the other. Either way, it has to, going back to number 1, has to be high value content, even if it's free. Why? Because this is their opportunity to experience your genius. If you deliver like the worst, I talk about this all the time because it drives me crazy, but the worst thing that I get is someone's like, hey, come here and check out this list or whatever. And you're like thinking, oh man, it's going to be so mind blowing. And it's like, a Word document with like 10 things. They didn't even try to make it pretty. It's just 10 words. And I'm like, I gave you my email for this. Like, if it were mind blowing and it was the same thing, okay, that's great. But if it's something I could have went to Google, you know what I mean? Like, and you didn't even take the time to like dive into it for me. Now I got to go and Google why this is good, whatever. Not okay. It. So
I think you have to have
value.
Yes, offer value. And I think that it's offer value in a way that obviously leads explains your expertise. So if you are giving a PDF, but you're a coach, they're just getting a PDF. They're not getting you. So pair that with a video or a training, something that has your coaching, because they're not going to get to know you better if that item that you're giving away, that mini course, that ebook, like if it doesn't have you in it, they're not going to connect with you.
Yeah. So let me give you an example. So you give away this PDF and you create a video that maybe is just explaining the PDF, like how to use the PDF. But in that video, you are helping them get over some mindset blocks. Like, like when they get to this section, there's going to be some obstacles that they have to deal with, right? That, so you're going to address that obstacle, help them get over the obstacle before it's even begun. You are now coaching, right? In this explanatory video, they're now getting a dose of your coaching, and they can see and hear your wisdom and insight. Now that is how you turn that PDF into an opportunity to share your coaching. So they may have came for this PDF, but now they have to learn, how do I use this PDF? Okay, great. Now you're showing them a little bit of you.
Right. And I know a lot of people are like, I'm afraid I don't want to be on video. If you're not willing to be on video and connect with your audience, you're not willing to sell. I mean, honestly, if they don't know people do business with people, they're going to do more business with a person than they are a logo. So if you're not willing, you have to ask yourself, am I serious about this business? And I know I might be repelling people right now, and that's okay. You have to be serious about connecting with your audience. If you're going to sell something, you have to.
Yes. And yes, I know people are right now thinking, but there are people who do the faceless YouTube channels. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but there's a completely different strategy for those things. And you still have to be able to sell. And you also have to know that what you're putting out there is selling in itself, so that you don't have to, right? So just understand, where are you in the market? Most course creators and most experts, the person that we're speaking to today, they are in they're probably selling higher ticket programs, and they also have some lower ticket offerings, right? So if it's a one-to-one, but either way, if you're going to go into this higher ticket, you have to be willing to put yourself out there. So just understand that that's one of those things, because they, if I'm asking somebody for a lot of money, they need to trust me in order to give it to me. And that is either by building a brand reputation, which could be through, there's a very long way strategy to do that without you being in the front, but it is a longer journey, just as a heads up. So if that's you, that's okay. Just take your time, but it's going to be a very different journey than what we're talking about today.
Yes. And even then, I think voice is involved in those. Yes, so there is a connection. Even if they are faceless, they still have a voice in it. Their voice is somewhere in it. I haven't seen a channel that doesn't have a voice on it. So something, face, voice.
I already know people are like AI generated. Okay.
Yes. I mean, okay. So there is AI generated, but still, you're trying to connect, and we will begin to not trust people. We will, because we're going to be like, is that AI? Like, are they real? Is this them? So, I mean, I think it's going to become even more important when we have this distrust for what is out there. Right. So, so I'm going to do something really tricky. I'm going to tell you all to come over to our Move to CEO channels, and you can watch the last 3 over on those channels. So go over to Move to CEO. We don't usually do where we're trying to drive traffic over to our other channels, but we are going to finish out the last 3 to complete our 10. And so we'll just pop on over there, and you guys can come see us. So, because our time is almost up here, but so we are Moved to CEO everywhere. So if it's Instagram, if it's Facebook, if it's YouTube, Pinterest, I don't know, everywhere. We're Move to CEO.
We're not everywhere, but we are there.
We don't love, social media, so we tend to be in the places that we like to be. But I am going to put it in here, Move to CEO. Follow us over there. We will have the last couple tips, and we've been doing this as a series. So we've done, what have we done so far? This one's course creators. We did
faith-based entrepreneurs.
Faith-based entrepreneurs. We're just doing in different industries. Yeah. We had Tracy, that's Tracy Taylor, actually. Yeah. Hey, Tracy Taylor, good to see you. But we do have other specialties. So let us know in the chat if you are curious, if you want to see how to do lead gen for your specific business. We'd love to help you out and do one of the shows around that. So awesome. Okay, we have Power Funnel Lab coming up. I'm also going to put that in here. So that's Move to CEO. MoveTV.com/PFL Power Funnel Lab. And it is a doing session. We are going through and working on your funnel. So how to create that automation that works on autopilot, that still has personalization and can help to get your leads generated. So it's part of the lead generation because you can capture their contact information. So you still have to do the outbound marketing to go get them. But what do you do once you get the leads, right? So definitely going to be a great implementation session. And that comes up on November 1st. If you're watching this video down the road, then that page will have the next date that we're doing that event. All right. Anything else, Kai, from you?
Nope, that's it.
That's it. We'll see you all there.
For the rest
See you at Move to CEO. Bye, everyone.